Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, October 8th, 2021, Friday, and this is early morning, 3:40 a.m. Talk of quality, talk of safety, and issues involved are civil field engineering, or you can say field engineering, life related to that, and what are engineers in that relation, quality relation, quality and AnnexSL that I'm going to discuss. Yesterday we discussed, we missed something. Safety, health, environment designs, construction methods, contracts, organizations, communication, coordination, and why all time talk and talk of quality, which which makes you feel bored. Yes, it is. It is. It is. Certificate, 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 and many such certificates with everyone, all over world. Those who are well qualified, those to whom we can say they are leaders in their profession, but are they? Question is different. They are leaders, yes, they are. They are supposed to be leaders, but are they leaders? That's my question. Question to myself, question to everyone, question to people of this country and people of other countries as well. Culture is like now global because we are connected. We are connected through internet. Before internet, we could say this is imagination. When I was too young, it was said French had glass carriageways or road pavings, and we believed that. So much was said about people of other countries, we used to believe that. But now people are educated in our country. I can say plenty percentage of people have been educated formally, and those who have not been educated formally, they know, they experience life. So therefore these titles are very, very important from every point of view. These competencies speak a lot, but do we really understand? I am inclined to talk of quality and safety. Safety means safety, health, and environment. You know, I know, everyone knows safety is very significant everywhere. It should be. I have seen in many countries now safety is valued. In our country too is its valued, but not in common. If you see very big projects, you shall find some element of safety. Full safety, they don't do to understand, means they think safety of PPE, if you use PPE it's safe. Well, that is to some extent. Personal safety is safe. Common use of PPEs gives you a degree of safety. I say quality. Quality, when I refer to, this means quality in each and every activity of life. Each and every activity of life of everybody. It's not simply it's my life or your life. Somewhere we meet every product, we consume products, we use something. We live in house, we live in buildings, we walk on roads, we drive on roads. Both elements, first element is safety, other is quality. Safety and quality are very significant. If these are not significant, there should have been no accidents. If safety is maintained, why accidents are happening all over the world? Of course, no, not to that scale. Even in England, you find people are involved in road accidents. In many countries, trains accidents are reported. This means somewhere something is missing. Of course, it's right. Means you cannot deny this fact. Or maybe at low scale, we are a big country, Bharat, India, having about 140 crores people or 1400 million people. There are more chances here. People become careless because there are all classes of people. Everybody cannot understand all these issues. Because there may be millions engineers here, crores engineers here, maybe 1 crore, 2 crore, nobody knows. We have that much engineers of all positions, all ranks, all classes, all designations. How many of them are serious? How many think of safety? How many of them, how do they think of quality? That's a statistical, logistical something. But question is, what is basics? Basic doesn't require any education, any thinking. For example, if you drive, you need a seat belt. You require to tie seat belt, fasten seat belt, and that's a must. If you don't do, you make a mistake. Very much right criteria means if I drive, I don't use seat belt. This means I make basic mistake. Some people say, "Oh, I forgot it." You cannot say forgot. It means okay, you forgot it. Your co-passenger forgot it. Everybody forgot it. This means I've seen people who just say, I don't like it because it's not safe. I feel pain. A driver of taxi. I used to work in overseas, but someone says, oh, whole day I can't use this. It's very painful. It's very tiring. Safety is important or tiring is important. My question is that. Same way safety of COVID-19. These days people think they feel little liberalized. They think, oh, okay, it's no problem. Where is, if you ask someone where COVID, you're not using mask. Oh, where is COVID? There is no corona. Where is corona? I cannot find it. A public reaction comes like that. Where is corona? I don't find it. I don't know its address. Nothing happened to me. Nothing shall happen to me. Okay, nothing shall happen to you, but something may happen to someone else. That point they don't understand. And those who have inoculation or vaccination, they jump, oh, I have no problem, I got vaccination, both doses, and there's no problem to me. Why should I unnecessarily wear mask? And just for one point, you want to cause problems to yourself, you want to cause problems to your society members. It's both way. Even if one is vaccinated, one has to take safety precautionary measures. If you are not vaccinated or you are not even patient of COVID-19 or corona, it's your duty to have precautionary measures. Why you want to subject yourself to this impact of COVID-19? What's the reason behind that? It's a matter of safety, health. You must have safe health. You must have good health. It's your problem, not my problem. You feel pain. If you are lost, your family members shall suffer. If you are lost, if you are sick forever, or you may have long COVID, you shall suffer. Your money shall go out of your earnings, your savings. Why don't you understand all this? Government is least bothered about you. Those who have lost their lives due to COVID, government has so big heart that they are ready to pay the big amount, billions amount in terms of 50,000 rupees. Shame on to them. They don't value life of human being. They think these people are carrots and stones, they can be thrown away. This is government thinking. But why do you relate to government thinking? Why I am relating it? Because it is the evolution of people, value of life in this country, and they don't bother. They don't bother about anything. But when government doesn't bother, who bothers? Question is that. When government fails to do its function, when government in whatever country fails to do its function, who is responsible? In that case, citizen is responsible. Because citizen is always above government. We have to understand this fact. In democracy, it is a citizenry that rules government. It opposes government. It supports government. It does both functions. Some people support government, some people oppose government, and some people least bothered. This happens everywhere. But my talk is not related to that. I'm involving factor of safety, health and environment. Your safety is your problem. My safety is my problem. And ultimately it is social problem. Everyone should be safe. We can be safe only when we keep ourselves safe. We intend to think about safety. And if we are careless like we are now, 90% people, you can say, they are least bothered about corona, as if it has gone, it is as extinguished. They are imagining, because there is miscommunication to them. Everybody cannot go to read news all times. Everybody is not so freely available to read news or analyze news, or maybe I go to many newspapers. I go to many newspapers all or from all over the world, and I can know what's happening somewhere here and there in England, in USA, what's happening somewhere in Russia, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Bharat, India. Everybody does not do that. It's your own interest. Information is very important. We know it is. It should be. If I'm not informed, means I meet some problem in life. Information is my right, but how do I do that right? How I can say I am fully informed? And you cannot expect everybody to be informed. Therefore, it's duty of media, it's duty of government, it is duty of public bodies, it's duty of educated people that they should at least get information and pass it to those who cannot get it. But it is not happening. It is not happening. I have seen even intelligent classes, higher educated classes, they are inclined, they are concentrated on themselves. They don't bother about others. So education is only professional. It's not emotional. It's not value added. It's not human education. It's only work education. You just have some degree and experience, and you are inclined only to job, as if job is only destination in life, nothing else. I am inclined to talk about safety and quality and not of life, but life is a part of this, because without engineering, life cannot move, and without life, engineering has no meaning. Quality required everywhere, and it is very clear. It is very in activity of life, each and every activity of life. You can say engineering is required, and quality is required, and safety is required. Quality is required everywhere. This is indeed correct, true, no doubt. Nevertheless, it's not done. Medical is a profession that is most important for existence of a good health of life. Similarly, engineering is very, very important, super profession for development of world and development of your country and development of your city and development of your home and development of your mind. Because your mind is also linked to engineering, because you are using some gadgets like mobile, like television, like computer, everything you are using, and this impacts your mind. Therefore, we have to think of all this. That's why I am giving title containing about many topics like engineering, field engineering, or you can say total engineering, you can say, then how it relates to life and how it is related to engineers, and what's the role of engineers in that, what they should not do, and what's the role of society, and what's the role of quality to safety, and what's the role of quality in life, and what a structure of quality system says, and what are design relations, design and construction complementary to each other. Designs not can't be good. Design and construction are, you can say, real brothers or real sisters, real siblings, you can say. One cannot move without other. And the methods are involved, with different methods for different activities are involved, and we have to take care of that. And then contracts, which is the basis of working without which I think in these days nothing can move. Contracts without contracts. Contract is such a system. It has been made such a system that without it we cannot move this way or that way. We have to rely on them. Even we do not want, but we have to. Then organizations, organization is every company's organization, government bodies organization, private bodies organization, and your home is itself an organization, family institution, you can call it, all institutions organizations. And you can say, then main is communication and coordination. Communication should be, on a higher profile, but it's not happening, because even despite being educated people, we can't communicate with each other. And moreover, now life is dependent on web, dependent on internet, and communication has gone to digital, or not to personal, face to face, and that's why coordination is affected. Because of that, coordination is affected. Interaction has been affected. Even people sitting in the same family room, they don't interact together. They are busy and chatting they are more concerned about remote people, with remote person sitting, and they are not concerned with their family members, mother, father, real brother, real sister, others, guests. The most maybe just good morning, good evening wishes, and after that they don't bother. People come to you for some interaction, they don't come to you for a cup of tea or for food. We have to understand this, that computer has changed entire life. World has changed, computer has changed, and this COVID-19 has become a further changer, that it has changed entire life. Now you can say changes so much that, of course, there is a scares of corona everywhere, but people are gradually taking it as if it's nothing, and that's what corona wants. What corona does desire, Corona desires that you should be careless. What I understand as an engineer, as a person, as a professional, that corona has a capacity to impact your mind first, with your soul first. It changes your thinking. It doesn't allow you to think analytically. Otherwise, it's now around 2 years. It should have told everybody what it is. But we do not know anything about this. If whole world has been failed in 2 years since 2019 not to know analytically what COVID is. Every day something new comes in, some proposition comes in, some study results comes in, some research comes in, this comes in, that comes in. You can say they have confused everyone. So when you are confused, nobody gives you clear answer. There's only one way, best way, only way is precautionary measures. Resolve to adopt to precautionary measures, or else we have to suffer. There is indeed no way otherwise. We have to suffer, and that is what quality of thinking should be, that is what quality of life lead should be. It's simple question. Why not to take quality precautionary measures, just to have protective measures, just to apply protection onto us rather than to cure or to have resistance in body for against your corona. It's not an example because corona has been very dominating, and it's still sad. You know what's happening in England, we know what's happening in USA, we know news are not coming in regularly, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in our country. People are not happy, governments are not happy to expose full figure truth. Truth is being concealed, it's being hidden from people of their country and from whole world. Everywhere you will find something is happening. Something is happening. You cannot say it's nothing. You take means reports are not coming in. That's unfortunate. In our country, if you see, since we started testing people, still they have not tested half population. Unfortunate it is. We have not been able to test even half population of our country. How unfortunate it is. More than 500 days have gone, around 2 years, and we have not been able to test even. We have not inclination, no inclination at all. We don't have any inclination to test our people because if you come to hospital, we'll see. Meanwhile, you promote corona. Government, in fact, has promoted it. If a country cannot test its people in a duration of 2 years, well, I think it's a black mark on that government and black mark on that society who do not worry about this. Well, this is a part of quality related to safety, of personal life, of social life, of national life. And since this is world issue, this is not simply our issue, we should have been careful in beginning itself. And still I find people, when I sit at home, some people come, I always say please mask. I don't know why mask can be worn out, what's the reason behind that, how this information has gone to roots of public that corona has gone. They don't say corona has gone, but they say, where is corona? They smile if you ask them to wear mask. They smile as if you are requesting them for something. They're not interested in, and force is no use. Why should I force someone? But at least I have authority in my home, in my residence. If somebody comes, I can say, please use mask or don't come in. That should be responded by everybody. But people, I don't know why, they go to marriages, they go to birth parties, they go to somewhere else, they go to restaurant, they go everywhere they go, and if somebody wears mask, then it is worn out, then it's hung. And just an example I'm giving means, I'm not saying that I am right or I am wrong, but this happens. So we can say safety and the science are all important. Now I am not going to, because yesterday I talked a lot on this, but some I missed. I'll go to that. I also posted this file on internet, and we have to see how this works. It says that now what you say actually, quality has to be complied with, defined, specified, stated requirements within ambit of work designed, valid specifications, quality ranges and elaboration. Depending on indicative descriptions, and there exists no unlimited scope of quality criteria to be carried out, no feature if no quality persists, and its specified requirements must be met in all respects, right? And engineers must realize quality facts. These are only notes I have given. Now, what I say, now we have to understand basics of quality. I'm not trying to tell you that you do not understand quality. Everybody understands quality, in spite of fact that we do not follow it, we do not comply it. Meaning of quality people understand. They say quality or no quality, but definition is not given. Public don't understand that. That's the point here. Because when you buy a product, it is natural that you want to see that product attractive one. It should be seen in your home as something remarkable. You want expensive products also, or you want moderate rate products also. You want to buy a car, you say my car should be competitive with others' car, that my neighbor has this type of car, I should have better than that. We have so many issues. Comparative relations, comparisons with others. Comparison is no problem. You compare because something is comparable means something having some comparison with everything. It's not simple material cost. It's not simply product cost. It's performance, it's durability. Because when you spend some money, you think that it shall help you for 5 to 10 years. So your return comes back in different form, because you want to use a car, you want to save public transport, you want to save money you spend on taxi. Indirectly you can say maybe it helps you, maybe it doesn't help you, or you want to value your status also, because I have a car. I'm a car owner and I have different upgraded my status. Some people think like that. It's part of convenience as well. So whatever reason behind that, it doesn't matter. Question is, do you see quality when you buy a car? Everybody cannot buy a car, but whoever buys car or something else, expensive one, you buy fridge or you buy computer, you buy something else which is expensive as far as normal life is concerned. Do you see something, or just to see color of this color of seat of car, or how its steering works, or what's color of car, or do you want to see technical performance of that car? So a person who has idea, who is intellectual, that person should like to see, first of all, how does this car work? How powerful is its engine? What is IHP of this engine? Indicative horsepower, brake horsepower, we want to see that. And then what is coverage it gives, how many miles or how many kilometers in 1 liter of petrol or diesel it can go, it can move. And then you can see, after that you see only colors or accessories available in cars. This is normal that you have to see all these points. What is total system of car, because you are going to own it and you are going to pay for it. This means you are paying for every system that is installed in car, every accessory is installed in car. So don't you think it's a right to see all these are quality systems? Means how these were produced, and I am sure that it is a mechanical automobile engineering industry and they adopt some systems. But they adopt or they don't adopt, there have been complaints always, even from Volkswagen and many more companies. They have been BMW, they have been many complaints. They withdrew cars in millions sometimes because of many reasons, environment reason or some other reason or safety reason likewise. This means there was some flaw. If a car industry cannot understand that, they fail to understand requirements, means they fail to understand specific requirements of quality. And if at that level where engineers are available, industries that you can say it's not a joke, that is big industry, billions and billions of funds are invested, and if they miss something, how do I expect that others do not miss that? It's one example, and there are many more examples like that. Nowadays I can say hardly I can find a product which can be claimed as quality product all over the world. All over I'm saying, not in our country, but my country is leader in that. China is also partly leader of that. You cannot find any warranted item from China in my country. I bought also from some other countries and that was not warranted. It failed. It's not now, before also, many years before I bought one telephone, landline system from I think Abu Dhabi Mall, and I brought it to my country. It just I installed it, it worked for one day and it stopped working. Same way I bought one a few years back, 2 years back, hardly 2 years back, one UPS, computer UPS, a small system. It broke in 7 days, though it was warranted for 2 years. Then they came and they repaired it. Shame on to me, why should I buy such product? And they don't feel any shame. It was very internationally reputed company, Microtech. They did not feel any degree of shame. And again it broke after some time, maybe say 1 year. Its transformer burnt. And they visited after many days of complaint. And they say, okay, I'll change transformer. I come next time and change it. And when you ask him why it's happening in this reputed company, they say, what I tell you, it's all outsourced item. We don't have any in-house management or arrangement for this. And these are procured by giving subcontracts. Or really, subcontracts or what system, I don't know, but they order or they buy from outside and you can assemble and put there. Or even they buy ready-made item from outside. You can say assembled item, and they just put their logo on that and sell it. If that is situation in international companies, I don't think what shall happen to other companies. Same way HP, a very reputed organization company, whose laptop I'm using now, whose desktop I'm using now. Now what happened to them, I don't know. There is no difference between this company or that company. I have even seen such, they pack, they give to you, they deliver to you such items you don't even function. It happened with me. You see, everything happens with me, it's not correct. There may be thousands and thousands others with whom this could happen, but we do not know that information. No company would say my product is bad. Every company claims that my product is bad. You see, mouse is very small item. Mouse, wired mouse for computers. But it is important item, small or no, so it doesn't matter. Item is item. Even a needle is an item. If I buy a mouse online, I buy say 2 mouse, and when I get delivery, one mouse doesn't work at all. And is HP mouse. See, certainly you shall be disappointed, upset how I could get it and how this mouse could be dispatched to me without even testing. And this is a question. Forget, means they don't test. This is clear evidence that these companies do not test anything prior to is dispatched. This means there is no system working at all. Maybe their system in writing, it is in force, it's approved by their administration, their management. It's also certified by third party who register quality certification people, companies. They also don't go to this, means they are also only formal. They just do some paperwork and they don't test material, they don't do anything. Means they only understand system. If system is in writing, system works, at random checks the writing, but they don't care about functions. What product this company is manufacturing, is that product worth, does it function? They never question in market, they just issue certificates. This means these certificates are also formal. Believe me, being an engineer, I trusted systems. But now when I see market is like this, your system does not guarantee production of quality, delivery of quality. So what is meaning of that system? I can't understand. Are we living in a world of paper only? Are we living in a world of certificates? That's why I try to show you these certificates. I am not a certificate person. I don't want to live in certificate age. I want to, because my payment that I make to you That is not for certificate. That is for quality. That is for the product I buy must perform. Just like I am an engineer, I am product also. I am a product of some university, some institution, and there's some system in that. I got education, I got examination, I got approval of that examination as you are passed or you are this. Even then, I cannot say I am a good product because I am not to that mark. If you see a university delivers engineers or doctors, are they perfect when they come to field? No, they are not perfect. That was academical education. Now they have to learn on job, some education, some training. And that's only way to learn. One cannot say I have got this degree, post degree, doctorate degree and I am fit for work. Majority of engineers are found unsuitable all over the world, particularly in our country, because there is no such existence, such quality in education that relates to current development. Learning 35 subjects or 40 subjects is one thing, but how many percent that can be used at another point? Even 15 to 20% subjects are not used in real life. Common sense is one subject, general knowledge is one subject, which are never taught. So quality is a question mark in every process of life. Engineering I am discussing because it is a dominating profession. Medical is super dominating profession. Well, I am not a medical person, but I am talking of engineering because medical is first value, because without health you cannot even survive safely. Medical is first requirement in life because it's linked to safety, it's linked to health, and it's also linked to environment. And then comes, if you are safe, if you are healthy, if you can survive, then comes development. The stage of development comes. You have to develop this world, and for that engineering, at least for physical performance, is important. I'm not talking of morals, I'm not talking of soul here, I'm talking of physical development, physical being, which is important in every society, in every economy. And when I say economy, means nation. Economy is another word used for nation, just like state is used for nation. Just for your explanation, just for example. Who is responsible for quality? That question is always raised. I would say in profession, in engineering, in social development, in national development, it is one profession, and that is called engineering. Engineering is not simply a profession, but it is a submission, it's a devotion, it's commitment. You can say it is determination. It's a kind of representation of universe. We have to take it to that spirit. Engineer doesn't mean that you are only engineer. This means because you are engineer, you have certain responsibility, certain liability. You have to respect natural resources, and you have to use them to best possible advantage, not to exploit them. And this can be done only by total engineers. I am saying total means all branches of engineering. Abhiyanta we call in Hindi. Abhiyanta means engineer. And I stress, because quality is a must. It is not a dust. We have converted quality to dust from a must. That dust has to go sooner or later. And this is a responsibility of engineering community in this country as well as every other country. Engineers must realize quality facts, or then stop calling that you are engineer. You may be top grade engineer, you may be gold medalist, you may be doctor, you may be postdoctor. No meaning of your research, no meaning of anything if quality does not come by your actions. Must be realized this fact by every engineer, whosoever you are, wherever you are. And of course, I am telling engineers all over the world also, who are available, who are working. that it is you, it is not politician, it is you, it's not scientist, it's you, it's not other professionals, it's you, it's not your associates, it's you everywhere. I can say engineer must be responsible and liable for quality, to get quality, to improve quality, and to do whatever is required based on what education you have got, what experience you have got. It is your responsibility to upgrade that, to bring it to that mark. And that's why, because you are specifier, every engineer is specifier. When I say engineer, I include architects also. I include mechanical, electrical, and many other branches of engineering like IT and whatever engineering branches are there, linked to do construction, linked to do production, linked to do manufacturing. I am referring to everyone. Engineer is engineer. Engineer has got mind, that's why one is engineer. Like doctor has got mind, that's why one is doctor. It's value of mind, application of mind, use of mind. If I cannot use my mind for development in whatever form, theoretical development, practical development, construction development, manufacturing development, or personality development, or leadership development, or workers development, which we call skill development. It's important. And if you cannot realize this fact, if you just depend on education, that I have this certificate, I think you don't value that certificate. What certificate? Tell me, what is certificate? I tried to show all my certificates, but there is no meaning of those certificates if I cannot serve in that requirement. I cannot serve according to requirement. What's meaning of certificate? Who will certificate improve my world, my level, my knowledge, my future, or world future, or nation's future? It will not do anything. But this certificate has some system. It says this person has learned something. That's all. This person can work in this profession, you can say. It may be engineering certificate, it may be medical certificate, it may be whatever it is. That is what certificate certifies. That is why it mandates, it notifies. And it notifies not to that person who is certified, it notifies to people. You must have noted in every certificate, it is not addressed to a person, but person name is certified for some achievement of that examination. That this person has passed this examination in this year and from this branch of engineering or some other profession. This means it is a notification to people everywhere around the world. Every certificate is noticed. They don't address to you, they just notify to people. This means you are a public person. Your name was notified by some university, by some institution, and that's why you are a public person. Public knows you through that certificate that you have this competency. Otherwise they don't know you. That's why certificates are valued. But certificate is valued to that level only, not beyond that. Beyond that, it is your capacity, your potential, your capability, your commitment towards people, towards nation, towards everyone. That's what it is. And engineers, you can say, I consider engineers as first profession next to medical, because medical is primary requirement and engineering is development requirement. Both are on same level, but you can say destinies are different. A person is destined by a doctor, that person should live safely without problems, without medical, with health problems. While engineering says you should upgrade your standards, we have to make our lives better, and we have to stay in society in a decent way, developed way, and that impacts the economy of world. So it is very important fact I can say. It's not that I explain which you do not, you know all this, I understand, you know all this. Nobody, no, I'm not saying you don't know this, you know very well, you know, we understand that. But what happens? We forget. We sometimes ignore. If you don't use some subject for long, in spite of fact that you passed that, after a couple of months or long duration, you forget so much of that. You forget, and if somebody raises a question to you, you may not answer. But if you get that book and open that page, you say, oh yes, 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 I studied that time, and you just review it very fast and say, yes, I got it. This is same. We know quality. We know what is required of ourselves. We know everybody knows that, but we ignore. It's not because we want to ignore. It is because life becomes very complicated when you come in profession, when you come in job. You have to think about your job. You have to what sort of organization you are working in, or you may be your own freelancing work. You have to think for your business. You have to think for progress. You have to think for success. That's what everybody does. So your energy is diverted to that real world, but that real world does not say don't think of quality. Again, I come to say you may be working anywhere, everywhere, all over the world, but keep in mind quality. If you don't keep in mind quality, all your work is useless. If you do quality work, it's best one. This can confirm that this person's certificate is valid. It's not use that certificate. People use it, or people should say, where did you qualify? I want to send my son or daughter to that university. It should happen like that. Oh, you have very good knowledge, from where you qualified? Or, oh, this man does not do anything. Where did you? Sometimes people ask in anger, oh, which name university you are from? And that tells means that university is useless, has no meaning. So what I say, I'm not here to criticize someone. I'm just trying to explain what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, I can't say. In particular, you can say one community I'm interested in, because that community is directly linked to development, and it's very, very difficult education if you want to become civil engineers. I am civil engineers, it doesn't mean that I am appreciating that. I am civil engineer. It's general education I got, and in that education I also learned coordination education, that is mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. I mean elements of that, elements of electrical engineering, elements of you can say mechanical engineering, elements of thermodynamics, applied thermodynamics we call it. I also studied social sciences. I also studied geology in addition to my own subjects, civil engineering subjects like construction, foundation engineering, surveying, designs and drawings, and fluid mechanics, mathematics, likewise, which are domain subjects. And everybody in every branch of engineering has to learn some general, some common, some specialization. This happens. But don't think that that period of 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 years is enough for engineering development. Engineering development is a branch that works throughout life and up to your old age. It works maybe in different mode, in practical mode, in experience mode, not in your institutional mode. That is also very important point we have to understand. Life is not easy as we think. Life is complicated one. Life is difficult one. But it is easy one when you make it easy. Believe me. It is you who can force manufacturers, who can force industrialists, who can force promoters, who can force builders, who can even force government indirectly. If these manufacturers, these industrialists, these promoters, these builders, or whosoever, if they determine that we have to work according to quality requirement, no one can stop them. No one. And by that way, you can promote your business, because your product becomes familiar with people and people prefer your product. In long term, you will get advantage of that, but people want to get advantage in short term. But in engineering, it doesn't work. And those who, because of this, that there is no value in field, general engineer says there is no value of civil engineers, and I agree with that. Yesterday I just on internet was going through one publicity by some organization regarding civil engineers. The packages say 3.5 lakhs to 6 lakhs. First I thought it's per month, but no, it was annual. So I thought, what is this? You want to pay 30,000, 20,000 per month to an engineer? and you expect that engineer to work, or you want to pay 6 lakhs, for example, to a very senior engineer, or the engineer has 10 years experience, and you want to pay 50,000 rupees per month. A call center people, or these people are working in organizations, they are getting better salaries, they are getting better pay. Why should someone opt for engineering? That's the point. Why should someone opt for engineering? Because first requirement is food, first requirement is your family life. If you can't take food, which is basic requirement, if you can't reside in good rented house, what's meaning of your working? This is a point, means a financial consideration, economical consideration. Why don't you want to pay to engineer? That's one. That's the reason that engineers leave real profession, which is engineering profession, and they join management studies or IT. And you will find someday that IT has got a value. It will happen soon. There is balance, there is equilibrium everywhere. You consider in engineering, your design should be stable, static conditions should be stable, dynamic conditions should be stable. There should be stability in structures, and your structure should not overturn. We calculate every structure accordingly by application of factor of safety. So when you want to show to people that you have some educational degree, engineering is that profession, medical is that profession, but it's a very difficult and expensive professions. You have to study a lot and spend a lot. So because everybody spends, it's not that government provides free service to people. It doesn't happen. It's not my time. When I was young, I got equivalent to free service of education from government of that time. When I passed my diploma in 1974 and I passed my degree in 1980, so I did not spend a lot. You can say it is public money I used, or you can say I was supported by nation. But now it's privatized, and generally you can say money factor has come in. That's why engineering has become very expensive, medical science has become very expensive, and those when you spend money on education, certainly every parent desires, I think desires or has lust to recovery of that money. That becomes a kind of, you can say, it converts professional study to professional organization, that my daughter or my son should get a lot of money, so that I spend lakhs and millions on its education should come back. So here factor of education and finances are involved, and quality is not given any accommodation. When you have one inclination only, that you have to earn money because of your education, you have to stand in economy, you have to stand in society, you should have standards only, then you miss knowledge. You miss knowledge development. Knowledge is light, we know that. Knowledge is light. But we do not want to have that light, we want to have only status and money. So money becomes first priority there, not profession. And when money becomes first priority, first requirement, then we cannot say quality shall be achieved. No way. Both are enemies to each other. I'm not saying enemy to in that sense, but enemy that priority wise. Priority wise, you shall not care for quality or precautionary measures. You may write specification on any document, but how can a person who buy that can know what is right and whether or not it has been complied with? But it is assumed that you have worked according to quality. Everybody assumes that. Even I am an engineer, I can understand what is quality, what is specification, but how shall I ascertain that this has been done? Product that I get, it is from that level. I cannot say that until I use it. And once I buy it and use it, then there is no way out. Either you have every time repair, call technician and have repair. But that doesn't mean this is a product. I simply say if product has no quality, I reject that product. Very simple. Civil engineers have to change quality aspect, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It is because we have to do hard work, we have to fight with situation. Environment has become so septic in this situation. I'm not talking of environment, I'm talking of construction environment, I'm talking of engineering environment in which people work. They least bother about quality. Safety they to some extent bother because it impacts their health adversely. So to that extent they think, but what shall happen to that product which they are going to deliver, and for that product only this industry exists. That quality system is ignored. It is written, it's given in quality system, quality plan, production plan, whatever documents they maintain, it's given everywhere. But they assume sometimes, and some people check also, I cannot say that. Some people check, but that is very negligible percentage. Generally, it is ignored. So what I said in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society or else quality cannot exist. I am saying civil engineers because civil engineering is first requirement on every development. Civil engineer is a person with broom, you can say. Person with broom to sweep site areas first. Clear all bushes, clear of unrequired weeds, and then to survey that. So that is first work civil engineer has to do is a broom engineer. Though machines are there now, but machine is also a broom, you can say. It's also a shade. It's, when you excavate by machine, it is now, you can say, mechanical spade, mechanical axe. So function is same. We have to change society, thinking of society. Society does not say we do not want quality. Every society member wants quality. Everybody prefers quality and assume it is quality. That's another problem. We assume and we are forced to assume that it is yes. Oh, what problem if after 1 month it broke? There's no problem. We have warranted this item and we'll take care of that. So warranty is an element that disturbs quality. See, warranty of long term is something else. If we say let us 1 year guarantee or six months guarantee, or let us say 1 year guarantee of product, and that is limited guarantee, and in that 1 year if 4 times, 3 times, 2 times you have to call technician, this clearly indicates that you knew that you are not going to produce quality and you want to cover that in warranted cost that you included with price of that commodity. That's what I am saying. They know that they are not working on quality, even though they are certified by some third party and they claim that it is quality product, despite there is being procedure that in every service, during every service or sales, they ask you input, but who gives input, right input? Because you do not know how this shall perform. That's what we have to be very careful about. See, don't think that I'm just repeating every file same day. It's because of some reasons. And we can say structures when we design, it should be based on decision. It should be based on safe and qualitative consideration. We cannot just decide everything. Means we have to think of particular, I'm talking construction engineering, I'm talking designs of engineering. It should be well coordinated. Every point should be considered. Every clear note should be given. Everything should be indicated. How shall this work be done? So you can say construction based on reasonable, coordinated, constructible quality designs and safety, of course. And these points every designer must keep in mind. And then is a method statement, you can say, which is very, you can say, elementary requirement. Though we do not consider, but that is very elementary requirement, and that's method statement which should be taken care of. We should be produced for every activity, at least, because we forget. Even if say I'm head of some organization, I forget. This happens because Mind is busy, mind is very active. It's not one item that we have to remember. Every item we have to deal with. And that's the reason means sometimes we miss, sometimes we don't miss. Therefore, to remind us, there should be one document, and that is specifically designed by, not by designer or by someone else. It's by those persons who work for that item. And that method should not be, say, it should be favorable to contractor or favorable to consumer. No, it should be favorable to job. It should be favorable to product that's going to do. And that's where energies are put in that. Those who work on that activity, on that item, they should know what they are going to do, and that should be in clear terms, not in, you can say, confusing terms, or you can say unclear terms. There should not be abeyance in anything, you see. There should be no requirement of any mix-up or ifs and buts. No, this should not be that. It should be clear-cut what is to be done, thinking that person on front, on site, does not understand anything. So what do you say? Method statement is a must. It's a must for work implementation, and therefore it must be charted out professionally. No concession can be allowed on this activity. Method statement or work procedure is a must, and it should tell formally about what to do, what to be done, what is to be done on works, and that must be done for quality realization, or else there can be no real concern on works, and therefore on project. Because I revised this a little, so expression of specific details in convenient format for work performance and define elaborate performance it is. No work can be carried out in defined and designed sequence, and because of that output suffers, resulting in bad standards of work produced. Method statement must be made necessary for activities implementation, or else you can say diverse ways can be adopted by site team, forgetting no coordination approach, and consequences would remain without achieving any level of uniformity and consistencies. The time, cost, etc. Reliability is very important point, as we discussed before. It's saying there's no change in that. Analysis is now professionally, I can say, it's a master tool for work contemplation. It's considered an exclusive engineering and life-oriented basis, an intellectual tool that can penetrate into all problems and unearth required solutions, and there is just no way from where or through which analysis approaches could be avoided. A must it is. All problems understood. Synthesis, thinking, concentration. You can say it is a kind of solution. All solutions network must reach compatibility, and thinking and concentrations are certain powers, we can say, certain powers to achieve everything. Concentration, thinking are certain powers. Now I can say it's a power. If you have that, everybody cannot have that. It's very difficult. Everybody has that. You can say thinking and concentrations are professionally required for every activity, whether it is from design or it's on site or it's manufacturing, wherever. No disturbance to, no interference to concentration and thinking and concentration are related. Degree of thinking, higher degree of thinking is concentration, because thinking plus thinking, it can be defined concentration or focus. Certain powers these are, when you accumulate them, and to achieve everything, value unlimited and only way and an exclusive way for reaching solutions. And we say thinking based contemplation must be achieved. And we can say designs and prosecution works applications must be affected. Engineering quality non-conformance practice called rejected one. And non-conformance means engineer is either careless or ignorant or incompetent one, and therefore is a redundant personnel. We must change to meet requirements to achieve intended quality standards for universal recognition of products, and quality requirements checks being a must. Quality which missing if you don't check this, if you don't check quality requirements, if you miss them, that's a big problem, missing which we have to blame ourselves for quality achievement failure. Engineering means quality application and continuous improvement of quality. CIQ, just like CPD, we say CPD is continuous professional development. I add to that also continuous improved quality. So CPD and CIO are required. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality labels, because definition of quality is a must, and that definition requires to be achieved, or else you can say what happens. Work leads to status of being unsuccessful. Word leaves Work leads to status of being unsuccessful and to be reperformed. To be reperformed, remember. To be reperformed is a big problem. Engineers are problem solver, and engineers are developers. Engineers are engineers. They are agents of change. Change, change, and change. Change for sake of better result, change for best result, change for change of thinking, and change for change of project designs for better results. But it should not complicate. Better means better, not worst. If your change can change quality to worse, don't change. Think that way, view that way. This is a risk factor also in our calculation, but analytical world. You are going to take risk without thinking, without finding solution of that risk. Engineer can convert a forest or a desert to a city. That is true. Or an industrial town. That is also true. This means it is forest or a desert changes to a city or industrial town or normal town or whatever else facility or infrastructure. Quality and SHE play integrated and must vital roles in all respects. And that's what we are interested in, quality system. That's what quality system works for. Quality system is not something new now. It was something new long back. System existed, but we could not get that. We could not formalize that. People used to work. Those activities again are same. There's no change. Only a system has come on that. You can say collection of that activity in systematic way, in a structured way, and additions based on experience have brought into existence in a titular form, which we call quality system or total quality system. Just like we call CPD, continuous development, continuous, you can say professional development, we can say continuous improvement to quality. We have to add to that, and that continuous improvement quality actually is route to bring out quality system, total quality system, which has been explained in length by that organization, which is responsible for standardizations of quality system, and that is ISO, for example, one, and there may be other. But they don't have any responsibility for product quality. Still they don't have. These are responsible only to generate standards, to publish standards, and also there are parties that are authorized for purpose of certification for those who are competent or who pass their observations. Feeling cold, so I put off fan. Well, sorry. System is system. System, you can say, is a narrative only. System cannot rule you, but you have to follow it. Those third parties, they observe our system. They make sure that system has been working in compliance to definitions by that organization. Let's say ISO, and it's a 9001 system. These agencies are not responsible for product, though in device system responsibility goes to product also. If product doesn't qualify, you may say that system doesn't work. But that is different. Why I am saying who is system? What is system? After all, every system is human resources based. When you design some system, you formulate it. Machines cannot work automatically. These are operated. Computers cannot work automatically. It is given software. It is given hardware. It is given formula. It's given digital language, machine language. It's given input. Only then it works. If input is wrong, data entry is wrong, can you get what you intended for? You cannot get that. You cannot say that automatism exists. It is only say automation. It is automation. Just like we say it's automatic car. People think it's automatic car. It's not automatic. Those who have driven automatic car, they may be knowing. It's automatic gear car. And that automatic gear is also limited in performance, that you have not to just use gears, or you can say clutch. You have just to use one brake or one, you can say, accelerator. Gear change works automatically. That's the only difference. Only that you have to bring that knob to driving mark, or on parking when you park it. Otherwise, internally it works. Gear changes means that manual change required by that manual car has been converted, has been researched so that automatically it works inside. Depending on what speed you are driving in, it works automatically. But it works. Only difference is manually we don't apply that. That's it. Where's the difference then? Means it's application of advanced mechanism, that's it. Means they want you not to touch it, not to worry about change of gear. So it is automatic gear change. Same way, sometimes they say, oh, this is driverless, this is operatorless metro. Oh, this train is moving without drivers. And people surprise how it is. But still it is controlled by remote. That driver is sitting somewhere else rather than in engine. That driver sits in control room. Control room from where they say where they stop it, they run it. So it's not only thing is there's a distance has been created, just like distance between driver of a car and manual gear. Same way distance between that driver of a train and control room. So it is seen if something has been made invisible which persons cannot understand. So system is that. System is nothing very, it's your own definition, or a group or an institution has defined something based on what so many experts from around world think is right. And that is included in that system. And system cannot be produced in one day, that's true. It takes decades for making system. Means experts work there. Those who have long experience, real experience they have. Even then, success doesn't come in time. It fails. Fails and fails and fails. And then starts getting success and success and success. It's like that. So we cannot blindly go to system alone. My point of view is that everybody who is new, who is having higher education, and that person thinks I'm king of this because I got this. It happens with everybody. Once you are new in field, you got good certificate, you think that it's your property, it's your status, it's your title, it's your honor, and that is true. You should have that. You should have that value, your honor. You should have a clear title, and you should be, you can say, proud of that. Yes, I have this pride. I have got it. It's my achievement. Okay, fine. We respect it. We respect. It must be respected. But what respect do you do? My counter question is, we respect you. You are an engineer, you are a doctor, you are MBA, you are IT, you are everything. And I want to use your service. I want to see your performance, and that can be seen only through product you deliver. How does a doctor treat some patient? Patient can only tell what best treatment he got. No other person can say, a patient can tell, yes, I am feeling very well now. This doctor is reliable, this doctor is very good, and I got a good feeling about that. Same way, if you have some structure, only you can say how it works. Is it good ventilated or not? It is good stability or not? Of course, you do not know technical aspect of that, but you can see it's very good ventilated. It's a very good house, comfortable house. Means it is you to tell, but only a common person has common knowledge, general knowledge, not expertise knowledge. How shall some product behave or conduct in long term? Only that person knows who built it, who produced it. Nobody else can do that. That point is very significant in valid for every profession. We should enjoy that, in fact, rather than having stress or strains from that. If you find problem in your profession and we have to resort to solution, then we have to struggle for that, we have to think for that, and we get solution also. There is no problem in this world which cannot come to solution. Solution is required to be found out, and it is done. And when you find that solution, believe me, irrespective of that you are going to get money or no money, you feel a degree of pleasure. You draw that pleasure from that, and that is what we can say is a drug. That pleasure, that solution is a drug in profession, and your profession needs that drug. I am not talking of the other drugs. I am saying not thinking is a disease, not understanding some activity is a disease. Despite you are a professional, your foreman can understand, you cannot understand. That is I can say, disease. That disease should be treated, and you are your own doctor there. You're your own doctor. You know problem, you don't want to solve it, you do not try to solve it, and that's why problem exists. Why should it exist otherwise? So I'm not saying system should not be complied with in its follow-up. It is your system, you have to do it. Nobody else formulated that system. And system depends not on equipment, it depends not on facilities, it depends on individual person. Even if machine oriented work you are doing, you are working in industry, you are working in factory, you are working in construction, or you are working in services, wherever. It is individual approach that is important. If individual professional does not work or does not have interest to that level which is required, you will find ignorance, you will find something is missing somewhere, or reliability coefficient falls. In reliability coefficient, individual is number one. Product comes later, but first individual. If individual is not interested, that individual can, by its ignorance, spoil machine also. They don't care. I have seen operators of heavy machines like excavator, like shovel, like concrete pump, that they are not well experienced, they are not well experienced, they don't have skill. If they work very fine, very efficiently, I have seen those who cause problems also in that. You can say indirectly, you can say indirectly kind of careless attitude, which can lead to, should not say that, but it can lead to temporary sabotage. Means you should know what you are doing. Individual is system. I can say unit of system. Individual is responsible for machines operations, for system operations, for collective decisions, for reliable decisions, for fruitful or bad decisions, and if decisions reach bad state, how to how to convert that bad state to good state. An individual and many individuals together think it. It's not new, you know it. You are professional, you work in team, you know it. But that cohesive environment requires to be created. You see, accuracy comes later, but first input is we should move with the thinking that we have to deliver quality product. And that quality is limited quality. It's not extensive one. Every product has various classes, various, you can say, categories. And that is because of provided quality. More and more quality requirement means more and more value of product, cost of product. Concessional quality means less cost of product. This happens because you cannot get equal products, uniform products. It depends on its cost. But minimum requirement is whatever you are charging for that product, that customer should know what performance shall it give. You should not say because cost is less, you are giving less. That person should be clearly defined quality and contents, or you can say specification of that product. We call quality in terms of specifications. This product can perform to this level, at this level, for this period. These parts have long life, these parts have short life. That person should know. Just like commonly it is said for battery, we are only for 1 year responsible or for 2 years responsible. For other parts we are more responsible. Likewise they say as such. Of course there can be differences, I am not saying no. And I don't want to repeat that product warranty should be increased or love. We should not use such parts which have limited life. Ultimately there's a, you can say, improportional life. One has 1/4 life, one has 4 times life. So there is no integrity in that. There is no, it's a waste in fact. If one part breaks, other parts cannot work also. We have to think that way. So my approach is about individual involvement in system. Because system is made of individuals and not of materials or machines. And therefore I can say we were on clause planning here. We were on clause planning. After leadership had gone, we were somewhere on planning here. I think where is that? Let me see where it is. Planning clause 7 it was. Oh, its operation has come. So go back. Yes, planning, and before it was leadership. Leadership we explained a lot, and planning was trying to confer with you with interested involvement. I know no engineer is careless. I understand that. All our colleagues, like me, you are. Only difference is some people are interested in quality, some are not interested in quality. Though there should be no reason why you are not interested in quality, there should be no reason behind that. Maybe there's some force, or you are not provided with required resources. You may be having no power on that in your organization, or you are convinced that it will cost more, and your owner may say, why you are spending more money on this? See, commercial angles come into your picture as hindrance or obstructions, because generally it's not necessary that your owners, for whom you are working, your employers, they have interest in quality. If they are not professionally qualified, even if I have seen those employers who are professionally qualified, a time comes when they think of money only, or business only, or profit only, not consumers' product, and they don't think of consumers, though they clearly policize, they clearly define in their policies that customer satisfaction is number one priority. That is only priority but not factual. Well, it depends from case to case. My intention is to say that individual individual person's quality has major consideration. As a person, what level I am, what can I do, what can I learn, what interest I take in my work. Do I think that my work is my destiny? Do I think that this product is my destiny? What I think, how I keep myself, nobody can understand it. Only individual can understand. Something you have secrets in you, I have secrets in me. Sometimes I don't want to show my caliber, but my work shows my caliber. Sometimes I falsely claim that I know this. But as far as professionals are concerned, Code of Ethics also say don't state falsely. Don't claim falsely. Claim only that, take only that job where you have expertise. But this a fresher cannot say, because fresh person coming from university has to learn in which field that person has interest, first requirement, or in which field that person has a job, that requirement. Learning is important. But learning under force does not mean anything. I mean to say, because you are on job, this job doesn't suit you, but still you are there because of employment. So in that case, you may not take that level interest as it should be. Practical work is detailed study. Educational work, educational history was entirely otherwise. It was to pass examination, pass some test, to get some certificate of academics. But in real world, in practical world, in application world, it is different certification. It's your own certification. Only individual knows what knowledge one has. Others can know that knowledge only your products, your performance speaks about. There is no capacity in engineer that cannot be charted out, that cannot be explored. Every engineer is full of capacity. Every engineer at every level. Otherwise, we cannot learn engineering. That is true. It is theoretical learning, it is practical learning, it is whatever learning. We have to apply minds and learn. That is very much true. We cannot take for granted anything. We have to keep in mind all points, every point, and we have to move forward. What I say in planning, you can say we discuss planning, started discussing planning, and it happened. It says that in this inclusions are planning work in fact starts with when project charter is opened for certain bid, that we have discussed. Organization starts thinking on project requirement, project aspect, and all risks involved. All risk involved and all other restraint that may come in way of project from whatever source. Organization has a basic right whether to go or not to go for certain project depending on its financial credit limits or other available current business, which may not allow additional business for a specific period, for few months or years, depending on organization funding potential. Once organization decides on its charter to go for project, formal planning commences with immediately with naming project manager or leader, so that key lead personnel would share all in and outs of that project. Charter writes all details relevant to project, its finding sources, and all stakeholders involved. All risks should have been considered in all respects prior to agreeing on charter for doing project, irrespective of whether or not it is one. What points can be considered? Risks in construction management organization contracting, not easy to list out in one go. ISO 9001-2015 requires to think in terms of risk management and organization virtually and not just risk prevention. Every risk and restraint should be studied in details to sort out relevant adverse imposing factors and to work out to eliminate those factors or to overcome them prior to risk starts entering into project life. Leaders must be virtues. Leaders must, by virtue of their valuable experience, post-academic qualification, understand what risk would be encountered on such project, and what are possible resolutions to remove these risks. Prior to this position in on project progress, risks can occur on various profiles which can be forecast, analyzed, and understood easily by experienced and pragmatic professionals. And once such risks are evaluated, an alternative solution or risk resolution based on its elimination can be charted out so that no obstacle comes onto project progress. Business process based risks are considered and resolved by top leaders, while site based risks are dealt with site representatives depending on each risk item. Evolving in during works or prior to works commence with. Examples for certain risks could be as mentioned hereinafter. Okay. What we have talked of, planning. And planning does not mean plan. First of all, it means thought. Horizons in your mind, you can say. I am using this term horizons. Horizons are imaginary, we know. Horizons are imaginary, but we know mind is also imaginary. Mind receives horizons, mind receives vistas, mind receives mirages, mind can receive whatever otherwise cannot be received. Mind has that extension, automatic extension. When its one level is full, second level is already there. When second level is full, third level is ready. Likewise, whatever level is full, next level volume is ready for mind. It's free delivery without any cost, without any defect. Can we take it that way? So planning means that. Now it's up to individual what individual thinks. If thinking is a problem for individual, I think that engineer cannot be a professional. If thinking and moving on that to a level of concentration and then concentrating and moving on that level to further concentration or strengthening concentration to reach certain solutions, because only then you can get answers to your problems, or real answers, you can say. That is how research and innovation are targeted, are achieved. Research means already there is something you know. You have to learn more on that by way of experiences, by way of conducting work, by way of trials, or by whatever way getting information from some other source and applying that information onto your available whatever product. To know more and more about its conduct, if we change something. And innovation is something on higher level, where you did not know before about something and you know, yes, this happens with that, this can happen with this, provided some conditions apply. We can say it was not available, but we are doing it, we trying it, and we get some favorable response from it. That's why I say planning is not a physical exercise. Though people think that it is physical exercise, it's not a physical exercise. It's a collection of ideas, it's a collection of mechanism that we will apply in coming duration of that activity, of that project, combination of activities, where can be thousands activities, hundreds activities together, or in different levels, different charts we have. That is a representation of activity. When you draw some bar chart, some Gantt chart, or some profile of CPM or part using software, Primavera, etc., that's only representation of various activities, but mind is different. You can use software, that's representation part, but evolution, growth of planning, roots of planning, hypothetical state of your mind in that planning, and you can say ultimately thinking and concentration of that project. It won't be for entire duration of that project, but a couple of days, you can say. Even if it's a major project having many structures, many components, it will take a couple of days or a weeks to entirely grasp it, and that stage is very significant. Actually, that state is planning and not drawing of any chart. Drawing bars are not planning. That mind which shall conceive, you have to understand this project. You have to understand its contents. And this applies to both designers and to those who work in fields of science. For both, designer has also to do same which we'll talk in EPC contract. Now we are talking construction red book. So we have to concentrate on that. That volume of documents which that representative has gone through or is going through. Every time you think something, you have to refer to the document, because you cannot remember always, considering thousands or hundreds of documents, many hundreds drawings from all disciplines, many hundred volumes of, you can say many hundred pages of contract conditions or specifications. Though you cannot remember everything all time, but points can be remembered. Keeping appraised those points in mind, keeping a grasp on those, keeping experience-based values of those, understanding those, all these points are very responsible. And these generate some ideas in mind. How should we move on this project? One cannot say don't study that and start project. If you don't study that and start project, then you are not an engineer. I can simply say. It's for me also. If somebody says, oh, don't worry, just start an excavation, don't worry, do this. Shall you do that? A brilliant engineer, a concernable engineer, a responsible engineer, a mature engineer cannot do that. Yes, you are under force, you are new when you start doing that, because you are not an engineer, you are learning. I cannot blame a trainee, but that is bad training. You should have good training. Planning definition is very clear. First, you are not blank. You have some data you can call it. Some people call it contract, documents. Some call something, you can call whatever you say. But legally, in contracts, we call it contract documents. Or before contract documents, these are called bid documents or design documents or whatever you can say. Now, I'm considering you are going to construct something for which you have to do planning, and you are given few weeks that within 2 weeks you have to submit your plan. Of course, you know that plan since you initiated for that in your charter or bid, and you know what is that bid. But that time was different. That time was whether or not you shall get that project, so you were not that concerned. As usual, conventionally we do bid. Sometimes you price seriously and sometimes you don't price seriously. But that chapter is closed now because you got this job. What we have to see, planning factors. Planning cannot be done in a ridicule way. It has to be done in very serious way. It's not site activity alone. No. It is every activity that is done for that project. It may be in remotest company organization. It may be in foreign organization, foreign factory. It can be in your national factory because of manufacturing materials. It's not only site civil work. It is all disciplines works you have to think of. Yes, your subcontractors would think for you, but at planning stage, it is you who are responsible. You should know all products. You should know from where these are possible to come through contractors' submissions or through whatever resource you have, whatever source you have. You have to have a contemplation of that. Time factor would be known only from that. And time is very important here. There may be 300 activities on your projects. More than that there would be. All disciplines there would be. At that time when you plan, you must have feedback from everyone. Without feedback, you cannot do everything. It's not enough that you just say this is date of start and this is date of completion. That period should be combined enough in sequence, well coordinated, and you have to see is that period enough, or we have to apply some augmentation or reduce that or curtail that period. Curtailment is also possible while enhancement is too. Both are required. You don't have unlimited time. You have legal time, and in whatever time is given in contract data, we have also to see its commissioning time, pre-commissioning time, and so many other factors. We have to see which activity precedes which activity is in sequence to other activity, which activity is independent of other activity. All these points are very much analytical. These must be clear. Every point should come into mind. Even if it is not represented on bar chart, it should be somewhere in reference. Every item cannot be taken as, for example, temporary work items. You can say preparatory work items. These cannot all time be taken into inclusions on charts. These are kept inside mind, and based on that inside mind calculations, you may say, okay, we take this as one item, or we will take that one in level 2 or level 3. Likewise, it depends upon that. So we cannot say that planning is as easy we think. It is equally important, and planner must understand this point. When I say planner, it means a person who is responsible for scheduling out, who has to draw that bar chart, and all scope of work should be included within that bar chart or within that chart, plan or CPM or part or whatever you call it. In mind it should be. You make notes somewhere. Indeed you can write in remarks that this is required, this is also required, this is also required, and all these provisions have been collected together and included within this activity. So you cannot simply say, and I don't accept Understand project first. Project means not only scope of work. It's not scope alone. It is details. As a coordinator, you have to understand. As a site manager, site organizer, site agent, you have to understand. As a project level leader, you have to understand. An owner must know little about that, if not every aspect. Because you are going to work on that project for years to come, possibly 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on what project it is. So it can impact on your money, it can impact on your time, and you have to arrange resources also, or you can say you have to procure every resource, which can be human resource, professional resources, material resources, imported material resources, locally available material resources, machines which are going to be permanently installed, and machines which are going to be used on project itself if you don't have that, or hiring of machines. And you can say technology development or technology requirements and all other activities that would be required to be implemented on that project for purpose of fulfilling contract requirements, or you can say for purpose of performing all activities on that project. So it requires extensive mind. It requires extensive knowledge of disciplines, interdisciplines. It requires detailed communication as well, because everything cannot be done by just face-to-face meeting. Even if you conduct meeting, you may not be able to cover all points. Once, as much as you start going down into that documentation, you study, you enter, of course, as much as you go into that depth, your speed of learning shall become rapid. In beginning it may be superficial, but when you go down into documents, you enter into those provisions, you will find that you are better in grip of that project. More and more information you can take out, you can unearth, or you can extract, and that information is also a part of that project. Somewhere you may find that this cannot be done, some will find we can do this. Likewise, and that's called study of contract documents. Maybe we could not do at time of bid because we know it's conventional, it is industries, and we have certain data in our company that we can use that data for such type of activities, and we can use that. But when you are in field for prosecution, for execution, you have certain execution program. When I say execution program, this is not activity program, this is not each component program, this is whole project program. What is our policy towards executing, towards doing this project, towards implementing this contract project? That idea is converted, is included on that we can say execution statement, we call it. Just like for activities called method statements, that's we call it execution statement. Contract execution statement, how shall we execute this statement? And that's a part of planning, as I discussed. Planning is not simple plans or designs or some drawing charts. That should be based, though it's not necessary to write everything, but concentration to know, concentration to reflect somewhere. Maybe it is quantity, or it is quality, or some particular requirement given in documents that must come on that chart. See, bar chart comes at later stage. First we have to fix duration. You have to fix duration of every activity. First of all, you have to fix duration of whole project. That we can say it's a key line, you can say. We call it generally master schedule. People call master system. We can call control schedule also, where key timing is given. This is our contract start and this is our contract completion, and we have to plan within these two limits. And we also exclude probably 2 months or whatever period is mentioned in contracts, that period which is for pre-testing, or pre-commissioning, commissioning, etc. That period can be curtailed or can be dotted, can be a line marked that our mechanical activities, physical activities won't cross this line. Means you have squeezed your period, contract period for purpose of physical working. Okay, that's right. Then what structures are involved in this project? That also is very important to know. If we do not know contents of projects, we cannot do anything. We just, in that case, stay in darkness. That's why I say to know is generally called analysis of contract. And we have to analyze what we do. Just like we analyze some contract document, what should be problems and how we should resolve them. And these should be reflected somewhere in contract conditions, which could be general or particular. We have to analyze every contents of contract, not in terms of whatever designs are given to us, but whatever requirements are given to us. Those requirements also dictate such management. It's also important. Sometimes picture is not clear, but one line can change whole show. That we have to see. Means sometimes we keep on jumping on trying or this and that, but it speaks. If you see scope of work, if you see your liabilities, your responsibilities, that contracts are responsible to learning to get information from somewhere else. This means you are directed to something else, which maybe you missed during your during your tender working, tender calculation stage, because you were inclined to get this job. And when you get this job, then the question is that you have to finish this job, and that's where problem lies in. You made a mistake, but you did not notice, and nobody noticed. People trusted you, you are expert, and mistake can be caused by everyone. That's also acceptable. But if I did, now we have done this mistake, how to handle it? That becomes a question. How to handle that mistake? See, life of professional is not that easy as they think. What is seen green doesn't mean that is green. When you enter that field, only then. When you meet problems, only then. When you meet people, only then. When you see documents, only then. We can realize our liabilities. We can realize our requirements. And that is main point. We can make any mistake, but we must be capable to find solution to that. If that solution is given by planning, and for sure planning shall give that. Planning, if you really do planning, I can think, I can say, and I can assure, if your planning is logical, your project shall move logical. It's not just a question of my software working. No. I must have set mind what should I have to do and what I shall do. Both are there. Because when I plan, I at that stage act as leader. Leader of conception, leader of how to move this project, leader of how to achieve target. I can think that, and that is my capability in that instance of planning. One, I have that outline with me based on my contemplation, based on my studies that I conducted for knowing details of this project, what we have to deliver. It's a reverse study, you can say. What you have to deliver, what, how and why you have to deliver, and how it goes back to day one. You can say time is organized there, and generally major time is consumed by activities related to structures, because structure may not be having that much cost percentage wise, but time wise it requires time cost. Time wise it requires, because other materials which are not related to site production, which are not related to site environment, those come ready built from organizations who manufacture them, from industries who manufacture them, and that work continues in absence. That work continues in those areas of factories. That work continues as you can say part of your remote site. You can say that is off-site, that is remote site, where work of your site goes on, which you may, or you can say operate it from remote. You can monitor it, every right you have according to that. So work moves on two places. One is on site and other is off site or remote site, you can say. Work moves on both places, and that monitoring is required. That significance is very important. We have to give more weight on both. We have to give coordination scale to both, because possibilities are that those activities which are remote, that can be produced in time or before time, depending on what designs those parts have, what marketing those parts have, availability of those parts have. If these are common items, these can be delivered at an earliest. But point arises, if it is delivered earliest and we cannot consume them, we cannot install them at an earliest, then it becomes a question of preserving them. So we have to think this way. Means we pay money to them, we do everything to them through LC or through otherwise. We insure also those items, and those are delivered advance, much in advance of requirement. That's also a wastage. I don't want to keep them safe unnecessarily to take responsibility, and that company is released of responsibility, that manufacturer, when they ship it. Then insurance comes into play, and until I get it. But my responsibility is increased. Yes, this material is available, but you require lay down area for that. You require to keep it safe. Of course, this subcontractor may be of my own item. We have to keep this fact in mind. Delivery issue, we call it, you can say, we generally call it in our contract language a statement that's called material submittal update, material submittal or materials approval and delivery status, materials submittal delivery status. What an update you can say on that. What materials we have to submit, what materials we have to get approval of, what materials we have to purchase, same material we have to purchase, and when it is required on site according to our plan. All these points are considered, must be considered. This is very intelligent point. I don't want to keep some material or machine on site for 1 year or 2 years when project itself is 2-3 years. Why should keep I there for what? Means who shall preserve it? That point comes into mind. Who shall preserve it? It's a very important factor. Cannot be denied. Cannot be left unattended. It's a very much part of planning, detailed planning. It's planning much before then we actually start that work. And same way, reverse is also true. A material which takes too much time, long duration for its production, for its manufacturing, which we can't allow. How to solve that? Maybe this material takes much time and it may cause impact on our product, on contract date, because we committed that we shall hand over this project on this date or before this date. But if some material, which we generally call by title long lead item, and that item doesn't fit in that plan, or that plan is not suitable for that item, which we should have known at time of bid, but we missed that. So that is another big concern. Even though engineer should have pointed out, but engineer also missed that, say, some error somewhere. How to deal with that? A smart designer, a smart engineer would know about that. This means that engineer also ignored this. But ignorance by this contractor or by that engineer shall not solve problem. Problems require to be solved at question. Because if you just complain, it shall not work. Mistake is in both parts. But remember, in contracting, in construction, contractor is responsible for everything as far as contract is concerned. Once you have approved your contract, you have accepted that provision as are provided in contract, you are responsible as a contractor. As a bidder you were, and now as a contractor you are. These points we have to keep in mind, otherwise we have to face problems. That's why I stress that planning is not easy doing. It depends on mindset. Just working out dates is also not easy. Dates working out is very important. And that starts from date of, that activity starts of, calculation activity starts from date of contract award to date of contract handover or completion, in which you have to fit reasonably well calculated dates for reasonably well considered activities. How many activities are there? That depends on how many disciplines are involved, how many sub-disciplines are involved. All that must be outlined first, of course, indicatively, provisionally, and these can be checked, and you can say we can move on to amend that, modify that. And it takes a lot of time as far as contemplation is concerned. Later on we have to transform that information to our system software. But first we have to decide that it may be multitude project, maybe many buildings are there, many sections are there, many infrastructure items are there. And as many items are involved, as many disciplines are involved, as many sub-disciplines are involved, volume of work is involved, imported materials are involved, local materials are involved, subcontracts are involved, vendors are involved, technology is involved, whatever is involved is involved. We cannot say we exempt it, no way, because it is contract. You agreed for that, and you have to abide by that. It is contract. It's a binding on both parties to contract. Employer being party 1 and contractor being party 2, both are bound together. Whatever contract it is, it may be construction contract, it may be BBC contract, or whatever. Binding works on both. Employer is bound, contractor is bound, and because contractor is bound, it's a contract of responsibility, it's a contract of commitment, it's a contract of delivery, it's a contract of quantity, it's a contract of quality. These are few points. There can be many more. Now, what should one do? When you think all this, maybe somebody says, oh, I'll get mad. You will get mad. Why you should get mad? Did you not study theory of structure? Did you not contemplate bending moment? Did you not contemplate shear force? Did you not have an idea of deflection? Did you ever see them? You never saw them. We consider, oh, this beam cell sag, does it sag? You can never see that. But when you see deflection, you can measure it. A stage comes when you test it. You say, oh, we apply load on this, there's reflection. Then the remove load and it recovers back to some extent, and there's some recovery or some no recovery. Everything serves. That time was different. You were a student. You are immersed in ideas. You wanted to learn. And even during your sleep, you could say, oh, I was sleeping, I saw this dream. because that picture, that question was in your mind. Until it was resolved, it could not come out of your mind. And when it is resolved, you will draw pleasure from that. Oh, I got this answer. Your health will build up, I think. You will be having good time. Oh, I got it. So that's what I say. If you understand project, if engineer knows what are contents of these projects, and that can be done only by analyzing that project, going through contract documents like drawings, standard drawings, going through specific provisions, because specifications are very important. You have to give me a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you can read this. It's as usual. I have to stretch my leg for 5 minutes, and also I'll talk. Meanwhile, bear with me, please. Okay. So I am coming back. Don't worry. Just a minute, please. So I was talking of planning requirement, expertise of planning requirements. Planning just took 5 minutes ago. Sorry for that, gentlemen. No problem. There's no way out. So I say planning is very significant for 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 engineering construction. Planning is particularly very significant for civil construction. It's as important as design. When you design, at that time also planning is very important. But construction is very much based on significance of planning. As we discussed, it involves involvement of everyone, but thinking and concentration is involved by those leaders who are responsible for that execution. It can be project leader, it can be coordinator, it can be representative, whoever owns responsibility. That responsibility must be given shape. Repetitive concentration, repetitive contemplation are required to be provided input into planning. Don't think that bar chart is given to you, it's an ordinary document. It's not a plain document of drawing, or even if it's CPM or PERT, there is some calculation behind that. There is consideration of quantity required, there is concentration of speed required, there is concentration of costing required, because undue loading of resources also meaning nothing, doesn't mean anything. We have to make sure that this resource is minimum or optimum. That formula we have to apply in beginning itself. First, what time we have, that is also an assessment from available contract time. We have to, as I said before, isolate testing and commissioning, and we have to depend on actual time available for construction of permanent works. We have to take out mobilization time, we have to take out commissioning time, means on both ends these are different, which would not be dependent on direct quantities. We have to see quantum of work. Then we have to allot major portion to prime items that shall be done on sites, that shall be produced on sites. And we have to overlap those, or those who can move in this consonance. We cannot simply say these are absolutely sequential activities. Actually, that never happens. Sequence may be there in activity in terms of work, but preparatory activity is also required. Every installed activity, every created activity is dependent on its preparatory activity, and every preparatory activity depends on its temporary activity. So there are various classes, you can say particularly 3 classes in structures, we can say, because structure is very important part on every project in construction, civil engineering particularly. We have to provide ways how to do, how to reach. Then we have to provide ways how to prepare for that work, and then we have to do that work. And after also we have to do some removal of preparatory works. Everything in various stages goes on, and then at some stage we have to demobilize also, even before completion of project, before testing, because that which we have to do on site and that which is going on somewhere else, which site doesn't know but site leader knows, Depending on procurement process, they know something is going on, and this is the status of that one. And that also is projected in some reports. Contract review reports, here it's planning. And when we say this is your plan, and every month or in every meeting, that plan shall be reviewed in relation to progress, in relation to achieved, which means there must be a curve for all disciplines, there must be a curve for total disciplines. That curve generally we call S curve. Not necessary, but it is a curve which is based on baseline, and that baseline is your plan, your schedule, and many levels of that schedule. One schedule cannot solve purpose. There can be different schedules, quarterly schedules, half-yearly schedules, detailed schedules, discipline-wise schedules, and there can be various schedules of deliveries. Means what we see on site is not final. Manufacturing system should also be reflected, and that should also be reflected on your schedule of plan. We may say your schedule, your plan, your bar chart must contain something that indicates what's happening on the other end, what's happening at remote point. That is very much important. Somewhere it must be, either in notes or in a separate schedule which you received from your vendor, your importer, your manufacturer, and that should be given somewhere in that discipline. For example, HVAC discipline you have, electrical discipline you have, some system discipline you have, plumbing discipline you have. Somewhere in those important items or some specific items, very significant items, in infrastructure, for example, ductile iron pipe if it is required, epoxy pipes if are required, GRP etc. we call them, which takes a lot of time. Means even if these are not long lead items, these require to be manufactured specifically for something, or these are already available. Preference is given to those items which are available as ready-made products and qualifying specification requirement. Those may not cause major problems because those are to be approved and tested as well as shipped. But those who are specifically designed to be manufactured for a particular purpose, that manufacturing schedule is required. And that should be taken from vendor. Our subcontractor would take it, or if we deal directly, we shall take it. And that should be fit in somewhere in prime schedule or in detailed schedule, detailed prime schedule. So that is a part of coordination, interdisciplinary coordination at local office as well as from off sites or overseas office. That is what plan is. Maybe in level 1 you cannot show it because that is main disciplines plan, total plan. But in other plans you can show breakdown of resources, human resource, machine resource, procurement resource. Somewhere it should come depending on which is best for us. And that should also not cause complications for everybody to understand. So planning is a kind of technique, you can say. It's a kind of different world where ideas should be clear, and that's why I did not read full, because that is not explicit. It depends on your contemplation, how do you think. It depends on project leaders' ideas, what they think they want to do, and of course in agreement with engineer as well as with that service provider or material provider or subcontractor. It should fit in our dates. So we can say in HVAC we have to take this time factor, and of course we have to start late possibly. Same way in electrical items we have to procure transformers, we have to procure switch gears, we have to procure many other items, heavy machines or pumps we have to produce, chillers we have to produce, package units we have to produce. We required many accessories for that, copper pipe, everything whatever is required, ducting work, all equipment related to all disciplines. All those points must be taken care of in that plans and further coordination. Every project had many disciplines, many subdisciplines, civil subdisciplines, electrical subdisciplines, many other IT services, SCADA you can say, CCTV. Likewise, we have to fix according to, means we have to stick to end date, leaving commissioning time and come back towards start date, but not started, but much time is given. We should think that a margin is also kept for safety. And likewise we can say these are sequential. If structure is not ready, we cannot construct machine plinths on roof or on ground, and we cannot install that structure before structure is completed. It means there is no use to procure that machine before work is not over. You have to store that machine. It may damage due to corrosion, it may be functional after a long time, because nobody is there to take care about this, and its guarantee also goes waste. So we have to keep that point in our minds. We have to move back from there, and we should provide in connivance, in discussion, after discussion with that subcontractor, if that contractor knows how much time it is to be given to this. Likewise, we have to discuss with every subdiscipline responsible person and allot time, keeping our margins. And we can say there may be a sequence where many activities are seen going on that plan. You'll see in beginning there is only structure, nothing from electrical, nothing from mechanical, nothing from others, whoever lift suppliers or escalator suppliers or cradle suppliers, we will find all blank. But gradually entry is made from electrical itself, because you have to cast grade slab, you may require some conduits in that. So from that time you can say electrical picture comes into play. Then gradually, HVAC takes a lot of time to start with on site, but in procurement you can provide, in procurement this is started. You can provide column of procurement also, so bar of procurement if you wish, there's no problem, no harm. Or separately we can do that for clear indication. We have to measure progress also from that chart, monthly progress, weekly progress. We have to practically show status of progress, how it is. We have to consider these points, and this is no joke. These are no joke items, these are real items. Procurement is separate because we can calculate progress, and there are two ways we can calculate progress. One is activity based progress and one is cost based progress. Why I am telling this? Cost-based progress cannot be completely relied upon while keeping site working. We can say that something which we are dealing with on site, for example structures, particularly RCC, cost in situ, it takes a lot of time, but cost is not in proportion to that. If you see total cost of project, total cost of that bid, that contract, but cost wise if we see machines, these are more expensive. On site, your job is to install those machines, to mount those equipment on plinths, whether on ground surface or in basement or on roof, wherever these are designed for. You have to install those items that pertain to services. So activity that is performed on those items, that activity is performed in factory. What activities are performed in factories or manufacturing unit, which you are not sure about on site. But on site, when you see structure moves, it is main activity, and once structure progresses, other activities come into play. We can say services first fix, services second fix, services pre-commissioning, services testing, final testing, like that. In first fix also testing is done, in second fix test is done, in pre-commissioning checks are done, final testing is done, commissioning is done, likewise you can say. This means what dominates as far as activity based time is concerned? Construction sequences dominate, whereas cost wise it is concerned, then all items dominate. Major portion that is done on site and major portion that is done in factories, both are different. When you say cost, we cannot pay cost to contractor until material is delivered, machine is delivered. We cannot pay cost. Though that may be under manufacture, they manufacture, there is in process of manufacturing, that LC deals with. Already we might have issued LC, we might have issued some local purchase order for those equipments. So indirectly payment shall be given only when these are delivered to site. Part payments shall be delivered, and that also depends on valuation and agreement between owner and engineer and all, what conventional practice is. We have to take this point into consideration very professionally. There is no you can say inconvention. When we work out valuation on site, we work based on real works and not on imaginary work. Planning system itself charts out percentages of progress at certain stages, depending on quantification done before valuation starts, depending on volume of work is done, and depending on deliveries made on site. So a kind of matrix is created where quantities are given and where quantities achieved or earned are given, which can say that your percentage of achievement is this. It's very common and everyone knows, and generally all items are covered and amount comes out is same as contract amount. We measure in comparison to work required. So cost wise percentage of progress shall be exact, but that includes only those items which are delivered, have been delivered. Cost of RCC element is never too high. Maybe 40% of total project cost, 35%. Other items cost a lot in advanced project systems, where they may be merely electronic provisions, services provisions, high profile items are required, some furnishing is required. So maybe this cost of civil works goes down or construction work goes down. Services cost rise and those systems of security costs rise, furnishing rise, because depends on what contract, exclusive construction or package it is. When package it is, many items are included in that. So it's not that easy. Maybe in beginning, planning planning calculation says only 2% is over this month, 3% is over this month, 5% is over this month. Means very small quantity which you can only 2% you done. It is cost of structure only. But when you see activity wise, time consumed by activity, you will find that it has considerably worked, because time and money are not proportional in valuation on projects. That point also we have to keep in mind. So we should not be nervous. Oh, only this percentage of payment has to come, because payment shall come, shall come. Nowhere it shall go. When project is completed, every payment shall come, provided it is completed in time. There is no delay, there is no complication, there is no NCR, that is non-conformance report, which can create a problem. There is no dispute that can create a problem. There is no LD issue. We can say it's moving. It's moving per contract, and that is important part. And if that is not done, there are chances that you get jeopardy on project, you get problems with the product, you may not be able to complete project in time. And we know time is very important on contracts. It's not you and myself are responsible. It is a document, it's an agreement, it's a binding on both, on contractor and owner, and of course administration done by engineer, and supervision or surveillance or something like advisory role done by third party. Management organization on project has widened. It's not same, it's not as it was before. There will be many problems, many problems we have to discuss. It shall be discussed. There will be many problems on every project. Matter we are discussing, and therefore we cannot jump onto everything that is important or not important. We have to think from different viewpoint regarding risks and regarding everything. What is happening, what is not happening, that is different. What shall happen, what shall not happen, that is different. We have to first understand basics. We know books cannot tell us everything. Books cannot help you always. Maybe 2%, 3%, 5% they may help. That is negligible, because we want get information about whole which we may not get from books, from academics particularly. Yes, if there's some practically related book we can get some help. That is different way. We can say it's different. Everything doesn't move according to my thoughts. Everything shall not move according to your thoughts. It's complete variation. It depends on your team, it depends on your company, it depends on your organization, how they want to move. Remember, one point remember immediately, always, contract is no joke. Don't underestimate contracts. Don't underestimate contractors. Don't underestimate activities in contract. Don't think contract is nothing, it's contractor. Don't try to think in a different way. Reason being, if contract fails, engineer fails. If contract fails, owner fails. If contract fails, development fails. If contract fails, time fails, quality fails, cost fails, everything fails. Are you working for failure or you are working for success? Decision has to be in your head. Either don't use this mechanism of contract. One policy. I don't want to use any contract or contractor. I want to do myself this work. Do you have that capacity? If you do, you have that capacity to organize, do it. Why to go for contract? Point lies in, and that too in lump sum basis. You want to get a contract, you are smart, you want to award contract and you award that. And you think contractor is responsible for that because he agreed, that contractors agreed. So you are escaped. Can you? Can you? You believed in capacity of contractors. You did not trust your own system, your own capacity, and that's why you opted for contract system. Don't opt for that. There is no law that forces you, or there is no professional mechanism that demands you to go for contracting. You are, maybe you are engineer, as I said, contract engineer. Do yourself. But you won't accept that because you know it's risky. We know it's risky. Everybody knows it is risky. That's why nobody wants that responsibility, unfortunately. And that's why, because you are happy to design, even some companies also hire designers, and you feel pleasure in that. I am a design engineer, I am a structural engineer. Yes, you are a design engineer, but who is an engineer who can do job? So that's my requirement. I want job to be carried out, to be worked according to what you designed for, in quantitative as well as qualitative style. Can I do that? Can you do that? If I raise this question to every engineer, I don't think more than 2 or 3% may say yes. Calling engineer oneself is not bad. You can call yourself engineer because you are engineer. But contracting is also a part of engineering, just like design is a part of engineering, construction is a part of engineering, planning, safety and quality is a part of engineering. All are parts of engineering. Then why to run away? You know, when we started long back in our country, in many other countries, still there are some companies who do jobs themselves. They don't provide contractors. You try your way. If you want to hire a contractor, hire professional contractor. Don't hire a street vendor. Don't hire just a hawker. because it's question of responsibility. You cannot say I have a contractor, but that contractor knows nothing. A contractor who does something only can do something. Who knows nothing and you give contract to that person, how you expect that person to comply that? A contractor must know engineering first, particularly for every construction project. It may be small or big, doesn't matter. Contract is contract. And that contractors owns responsibility, and therefore you also own responsibility. You simply write on documents, oh, even if this is approved, it shall not relieve contractor of its responsibility. It's very easy to write. And that is bid. That is contract. Engineer doesn't want to take any responsibility, contractor takes responsibility because engineer has a reason to express that I am paying or employer is paying on my certificate. This guy, this contractor is getting payment for this, therefore it is this responsibility I have provided for. Details could be provided. This has to give me product. That's right. I agree with that. I agree with that. Nothing wrong with that. Just like I am claiming I pay money to some vendor, to some shopkeeper or some manufacturer, give me this product. That product must comply with specifications, must comply with quality.